All right, what's up? What's good? What's happening? What it do, baby? You are tuned in to another edition of the Why Not Us, Why Not Now podcast. It's your boy X, and we do not have KB with us this week. He is on a well-earned, well-deserved vacation, but we got a great fill-in for KB. This is his fifth time on the show now. Now, I told y'all that when this brother came on, it would not be the only time that you've seen him, and he's somebody who I can say for a fact we have lived up to that so far. Welcome in, sitting in the place of KB tonight. Another one of my brothers from another, Matt Craig. Matt, what's good, bro?
What's up, man? Thank you for having me. Shout out to KB, man. Hope you getting well, needed rest. I'm gonna definitely hold it down for the Atlanta talk for you, KB. So I got you.
So I hope y'all ready for round two of Muhammad Craig and X Tyson because we got a jam-packed show for y'all tonight. Man, we got to start off with the news that shook the NFL world yesterday, Matt. Mike Tomlin stepping down as the Pittsburgh Steelers head coach after 19 seasons at the helm there in Pittsburgh. He began his career there in 2007, stepping down yesterday, ending it officially 2025. No losing seasons in his time in Pittsburgh, no losing records there. A couple of 500 seasons, but mostly some winning seasons along the way, 9-7s, 10-7s, when the NFL went to that 17 game season as opposed to being just 16 games. One Super Bowl championship, two Super Bowl appearances, multiple appearances in the AFC Championship, multiple AFC North divisional titles. So it's truly the end of an era in Pittsburgh, and you can pretty much say that about the history of their head coaching tenure, at least during the merger era and the era of the NFL that we've been in since the AFC and NFC merged together, because they are now looking for their fourth head coach for the first time since 1969. So just think about that for a second. We got some organizations in the league who are moving on to their fourth head coach in the past 4 years, or they're pretty much along that track record. But for the Pittsburgh Steelers, whoever succeeds Mike Tomlin, it'll be their fourth head coach since 1969. Now, Matt, a lot of people found this shocking. You and I, we discussed this along with Lawrence and some of the others in our group chat, and we'll have Lawrence joining us later in the show in part two. But we didn't exactly find it all too surprising that Mike Tomlin is no longer the head coach in Pittsburgh. We were just hoping that he would be able to go out on his own terms, and based off of all the reporting that's coming out, it looks like that was indeed the case. He had a meeting with Mr. Rooney, not even the chairman Rooney, the son Rooney, at 9 a.m. on Tuesday. Told him then that he was going to step away. It was his decision to do so. Had a team meeting yesterday, told the guys that then, and reportedly received a well-deserved and well-earned standing ovation from everybody in that room. Was able to shake hands with all of the players and all of the staff members, and now he is moving on to the next chapter of his life. Me, what I honestly believe it will be is either a year of straight downtime, being with the family, or I believe it's a year of downtime with some TV included in it. And I believe he returns to coaching in 2027. But just what were your thoughts when we all got that notification yesterday?
It was shocking. It was shocking not because you didn't see it coming, but the fact that it still happened. It's just like it's one of those things. Like even with you being prepared that it may or may not happen, the fact that it actually happened still kind of left you surprise. On the simple fact that Mike Tomlin been with the Pittsburgh Steelers for about as long as I've been alive. He been with them for 20 some years. Uh, so he been with them as long as I've been a avid football fan watcher. Mike Tomlin's been with the Pittsburgh Steelers, and I have Pittsburgh Steelers fans in my family. My uncle Brent is a Pittsburgh Steelers fan, and he been one my whole life. As I just said. And Mike is he's a leader of men. Every time somebody talk about if I was to play in the NFL, I want my son or I want to play for Mike Tomlin because he's just a leader of men. He's somebody that's going to set the tone, set the atmosphere, hold people accountable, teach you life lessons. He's not just here to be a football coach. He's not just here to yell at you, but he's here to develop men and make them a better person for when they leave him. And not all the time it works out. Obviously, we got the ABs of the world and many other players that didn't do too good after they left Mike. But when they were with him, they were pretty much in check as much as they could be. And cause Mike, he ran a stern ship, and he was one of the greatest coaches in my time of watching NFL. I mean, I'm not ranking coaches all the time, but from the time I started watching NFL as an avid fan, Mike is easily in the top five out of all the coaches I ever seen because he's one of those ones, and just I look forward to see what he will do next. As X said, he may just take it because he stepped down, as you all know, he stepped down, but he wasn't fired. So they still own his white rights. It's kind of like when Sean Payton stepped down as the Saints head coach. He didn't get fired. He just stepped down as coach, but they still own his rights. So when he did decide to come back, he was traded to the Denver Broncos. He didn't just sign to them. He was traded to them. And the same thing may go for Mike. I think they said he still got his rights for at least 2 or 3 more years. So they still have his rights. So if he decides to come back, they have to make some type of move to get him to go where he want to go. And knowing the Steelers, the organization how it's ran, they may just let Mike go. They may not even ask for much in return just to give him what he want after him dedicating almost 20 years to them. I can see the way their organization is ran. So I wish Mike the best. If he does take a year, like I said in our group chat, like doing something for 20 something years, man, day in and day out, the daily grind, like to finally wake up and know like I don't have to go to a team meeting. I don't have to go to a coaches meeting. I don't have to go scout. I don't have to go look at film. I can just wake up and not do anything. Mike might fall in love with that spirit, but knowing Mike, he gonna want to get back to it after a while. There's only so much sitting around somebody like Mike Tomlin can do, and they gonna want to get back to it. And no matter how much money he got, no matter how much accolades he got, no matter how much fame he got, it's just in him. And he's one of those guys he just built like that, and he gonna want to get back to it. So, like you said, I agree with you. I can see him sitting out the year, maybe working some television, doing that, and then coming out next season and becoming a head coach again. It's and next year it's a lot of good openings this year. I will say there's a pretty good market for somebody that would like to be a head coach as far as the talent that's available and the organizations that's available. But next year we got a few coaches that's on hot seats, and there may be some interesting spots next year too. So we'll see what Mike does. I wish him the best. Congrats on everything you did with the Philadelphia. I'm not Philadelphia, Lord, with the with the Pittsburgh Steelers, and I wish you the best from here on out because I don't know whatever he decides that you do, you'll be great at it.
It's interesting that you said that he could get some downtime and could just enjoy that, could get into TV and just enjoy that. And I think that's a real possibility that nobody's been talking about because Bill Cowher was in Pittsburgh before Mike Tomlin. And Bill Cowher was 49 years old when he stepped away as the Steelers head coach. And there was a large consensus belief that he would coach again. Bill Cowher has not coached in the NFL again since he stepped away from the Pittsburgh Steelers. That was at the end of the 2006 season. We are 20 years into this. And as somebody who does work in TV, what I can say is there is work that goes into it, but it's not nearly as stressful as the job of being an NFL head coach. And Mike Tomlin might get there. They get those big checks on those big networks, those big comfy seats, wearing those suits, being able to just give your opinions, and he might love it. But if I had to take a bet on this, I would say that he is going to coach in the NFL again. Now, you mentioned there are some coaches that are going to be on the hot seat. But besides that, though, I think that there is at least one coach who very well could be going into his last season next year. And that leads me into, well, where exactly do we believe Tomlin's going to coach next? I'm going to let you go first on this one because I got two spots in particular that are standing out to me as prospects for Mike Tomlin for 2027.
27. I mean, if you look at the lay of the land now, we got almost 10 spots available now, and I believe all 10. I mean, I know they're not going to the season without a head coach, so I know all 10 spots are going to get all almost 10 spots are going to get filled with a head coach. From the Ravens to the Steelers to the Giants to the Falcons to the Vegas, all of them, they all go get filled with somebody. Browns, everybody. So knowing that. hoping. I mean, it's not above for a coach to get fired in 1 year. We've been seeing that a lot more lately. We've been seeing that a lot more lately. Coaches getting fired in 1 year. But I'm gonna assume that all these teams find somebody that they want to keep. So going into next season, the coach that I believe will be on the high seat is two coaches, and they're both in the same division, the same conference. And it's one outlier, but I believe these other two spots are more interesting. And that's going to be the Philadelphia Eagles and Dallas Cowboys. I can definitely see Jerry doing his best to try to get Mike to Dallas and just build that foundation. And then it's an interesting spot. They got talent. They're not a team that sucks of talent, and the ownership can be a bit much. But I think that'll be an interesting spot. And then Philadelphia Eagles. I mean, that's a world class organization. They ran well. And we'll see what happens with Kevin to see if he stays there after this season. I mean, I know he's gonna stay there after. I believe he will be there next season. But if we have another season like this season, I can't see the Eagles keeping him, even with that Super Bowl. We've seen the Eagles fire Super Bowl winning coaches before. I mean, they let Andy Reid go, so the Eagles not above letting the coach go, no matter who you are. So I can definitely see them letting him go after next season if it goes down like this season again. Probably halfway through the season, if they start seeing the same stuff. So those are the two spots I believe will be the top landing spots for Mike. And if, like I said, if I had one outlier, it'd be the AFC team. It'd be the Buffalo Bills with Josh Allen. I believe that'd be an interesting spot. I just can't see that. Don't look like a type of team that Mike would want to go to. I feel like he fits more of the culture of the Philadelphia Eagles or the Dallas Cowboys. But a chance to coach Josh Allen after not having a quarterback in Pittsburgh for the last 100 years since Big Ben. I mean, how can you pass up on a top two quarterback or top one? If some people may say he's the best right now, with Patrick Mahomes being down, so how can you pass up on the chance to coach a quarterback like that?
I mean, as of this very moment, I currently think that Josh Allen is the best quarterback in the NFL at this very moment, even though Patrick is still my favorite quarterback. But results cannot lie with what we've seen Josh Allen do statistically out there for the past 2 seasons. But that would be the only reason that Mike Tomlin would take that job in Buffalo. Philadelphia is intriguing. I knocked Dallas off the list just because I don't think Mike Tomlin wants to go down and deal with the impulsiveness that is Jerry Jones and his family and everything that comes with that. Also, the fact that Dak Prescott, he'll be 2 years older at that point. And you just don't know how he's going to continue to age. We hope he continues to age well, but you just don't know how that's going to go. But mainly for the impulsiveness that comes with the Jones family. Philly's a very intriguing spot, though, because I'm glad you brought that up. We'll talk a little bit about it now. We'll go more in depth in part two of this episode. I've been struggling now, Matt, for the past year and a half, maybe 2 years, trying to figure out what exactly is it that Nick Sirianni actually does as the head coach of the Philadelphia Eagles. What does he do well? And here's why their offensive problems make no sense to me, and why I believe he should be held to his feet should be held to the fire more so for this. You realize that Nick Sirianni was hired as the head coach of the Philadelphia Eagles after 3 seasons of being the offensive coordinator of the Indianapolis Colts. So this is supposed to be your side of the ball. So why are you so dependent on being able to have somebody who can come in and operate that side of the ball for you? When you have Shane Steichen, you're fine. When you have Kellen Moore, you're fine. When you don't have either one of those guys, you don't. And I know Eagles have this pipe dream of, oh, we're going to end up getting Mike McDaniel. Matt, I said it in our group chat last night, and I'm going to say it right here, right now. I think Mike McDaniel is actually going to get a second shot at being a head coach in this cycle around. I actually got the team picked out for you. I think he's going to be the next head coach of the Tennessee Titans and their young quarterback, Cam Ward. And I believe he goes there with a young building quarterback that he can grow and develop with. And we'll see if we can get better results there than he was able to get in Miami, because it wasn't all bad in Miami. I know everybody wants you to believe that it was all bad, but it wasn't. His first 2 seasons there, they went to the playoffs, and he had Tua back there as his quarterback, looking like a top 15 quarterback in the league statistically with what it was that he was able to do. Now, having Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle definitely helps out with that, but still, it wasn't all bad. And when we thought that he was as good as gone for sure, when they were 1-7 this season, they got that thing turned around enough to the point that they at least finished 7-10. that when they fired him last week, some of us found that kind of surprising because we thought that he had saved his job. With the amount of openings that we have now at this point, and because of him being one of those offensive guys that folks want to bring in for creativity and feeling he's one of the best offensive play callers, I think Tennessee is a premier destination for him. But let me give you my two spots really quickly for Mike Tomlin. The first one is going to be the Kansas City Chiefs. I think that Big Red could be hanging it up after next year. And why not be able to jump into that spot with that culture and that quarterback when you've gone without a good quarterback for so long? Does everybody understand that Mike Tomlin since 2020 has had issues at the quarterback spot? And I don't know how much say so he actually had in that, Matt, in Pittsburgh. I don't know how much say he had. I don't know if that was Kevin Colbert, Omar Khan, or decisions that Mike Tomlin was signing off on. But I find it very hard to believe that Mike Tomlin would actually believe that he could win a Super Bowl with a 42-year-old Aaron Rodgers or Kenny Pickett, Duck Hodges, Mason Rudolph, 37, 38-year-old, any of those. I find it very hard to believe that he would have thought that at this point. So I don't know how much say so he actually had in Pittsburgh. Kansas City's one spot for me because of an Andy Reid retirement. Number two, and this is one that'll probably make you think a little bit, because there were reports that came out, Josina Anderson, most notably on X, formerly known as Twitter, saying that Mike Tomlin wants to coach somewhere where it's going to be warm and where it makes sense. I think Mike Tomlin has a legit shot of being the head coach of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in 2027. That's where his NFL coaching career really took off as an assistant. He was a member of that team that won Super Bowl 37 back in the 2002 season. He came there under Tony Dungy, stayed there for a little while under John Gruden, obviously was hired as the defensive coordinator of the Minnesota Vikings when he took the Pittsburgh Steelers coaching job. But you talk about going somewhere warm and where it makes sense, it doesn't make sense for him to go to Miami. Not with what's going on down there right now. They got to get their culture together. It's a little impulsive down there right now, too. The Glazer family, they run a pretty tight ship. And they have a really good general manager as well, one of the best in the league. I mean, you give me your thoughts on that. What do you think?
I believe both spots are interesting. I mean, if you like I said about Josh, if you can coach a top two, three quarterback in the NFL, I say sign up for that any moment. So if he can get to Kansas City and coach Patrick Mahomes, I say definitely go there. That'd be a perfect landing spot. And then I mean I hate to say it, I know you covered the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, but I would look at him going to Tampa Bay as his last hurrah. That'd be his Tom Brady moment. That'd be his after he go there, he'll coach there for about 10 years, then retire. That'd be his like going away thing. Um, Only because I just with all the teams that would be at his doorstep, I wouldn't see Tampa Bay as one of the first options for him to pick. But it is a good organization, like you said. They're in a good warm city and state, and it's a low key situation. So he may like that less media market by going to Tampa Bay. But I would look at that like his last. That'll be his Tom Brady moment, pretty much for me.
Well, that's the spot that makes the most sense to me, just simply because I told you how I feel about the Dolphins. I don't think Liam Cohen is going to be going anywhere anytime soon in Jacksonville. They might try to rework his contract, keep him there even longer. Harbaugh is not leaving the Chargers right now. McVay's not leaving the Rams right now. Whoever Vegas gets in there, I got a feeling they're going to stick with for a couple of years at least, maybe three at minimum, because they got a lot of coaches that are no longer there that they are still paying contracts to, and you got to get out of that cycle. Arizona, I consider them basically the West Coast version of the Jets. Why would Mike Tomlin go there? The Bidwell family, the way that organization is ran, I'm sorry, I'm just not a fan. So that leaves Tampa at this point as far as warm weather spots. Unless, of course, your theory about him potentially going to Dallas could possibly be in play with that too. That's the only other way I see that going.
Oh, you got a few Southern teams that's still out there though. You still got the Carolina.
Matt, it gets cold in Carolina though. See, I'm trying to think where he would be. year round where it would be mostly warm weather.
Okay, I got you.
So we'll see what ends up happening. Plus, I don't think Dave Canales is leaving Carolina anytime soon. Anyway, I honestly think that the NFC South as a whole, I think it honestly is headed towards a better trajectory than where it's been. I'm not saying it's going to end up being one of the best divisions in the NFL, but I think it'll be closer to that NFC South that we remember from 2016, 2017, 2018, because it's been a long time, but at one time, this was a division that had multiple teams that was able to make the playoffs, and they had respectable winning records too. The last time I believe all three made it was the 2017 season. The Saints won the division. Carolina got in as a wild card. Atlanta got in as a wild card. I could see a scenario where we could be headed for something else like that. But the Bucks, in my opinion, I don't think they're going to be a part of that that's headed in that upward direction. I'm telling you, just being here and seeing it, they really going to have to do some things in that draft to get some things turned around there. You got to get an effective pass rusher in there. There's a lot that's going to have to change there. But when it comes to the NFC South, I am all the way dialed in what is going on in Atlanta. I am very curious as to what Matt Ryan, as the new president of football, is going to do in terms of bringing in that general manager, who he's going to bring in, and how they're collectively going to bring in their next head coach. I don't know who it's going to be, but I'm intrigued to see what they're going to be able to do. And I'm also intrigued by what I saw in New Orleans in the second half of the season with Tyler Shuck and Kellen Moore. I think they got something brewing there. If you'll remember, I went on your podcast, Open Stride, before the season, and we didn't talk about the NFC South, but we brought up little nuggets like, okay, who do you think are dark horses for divisions? And if you remember, I told you I thought Carolina was interesting because I saw what they did in that last month and a half of the 2024 season. I'm kind of looking at the New Orleans Saints the same way I was viewing that Carolina team, if I'm being honest, Matt. They got their quarterback in place at least for the next year. We get a full year of him next year, so we'll see what he's all about. But you get some of those aging contracts off the books, get some fresh new blood in there with these draft picks, get a free agent or two in there. I'm intrigued to see what they end up doing in New Orleans. So for right now, going into 2026, that season, even though we're not even completely out of the 2025 season yet, we're in the postseason. I believe the NFC South is going to be one of those to watch just from an interest standpoint. But I want to talk about how we got here with Mike Tomlin, at least in this moment. And that would be the wild card game that happened on Monday night with your Houston Texans absolutely going in and dominating on the defensive side of the ball, defeating the Pittsburgh Steelers 30-6. We saw two defensive touchdowns in that game. At one point, that game was stuck at a 7-6 score, and we were just wondering, is this going to be the final score? How many points are there going to be scored? And Houston's defense, if you haven't had a chance to watch them, they're the real deal. They remind you of the 2015 Broncos, the 2013 Seahawks, because there's no hole in their defense from what I've been able to see. I was looking very carefully on Monday night. There is no hole in that front seven. Will Anderson Jr. he's emerged, ladies and gentlemen. He has arrived. Daniil Hunter was already here from all of those great years he had in Minnesota. It's now translated to Houston. Stingley in that secondary, they got everything on lock. Aaron Rodgers couldn't complete passes to save his life on Monday night. And it's because that secondary had things on lock, and also because that front seven was in his face all night. And the floor is yours on this one because I know you've been waiting to talk about your Houston Texans.
Shout out to the H Town, man. Shout out to the H Town. Shout out to my Houston Texans. They had me nervous in the first half. Just, I mean, not the defense, but CJ. I was really. I'm gonna start with the bad and get to the good. I was really disappointed in CJ play in the first half of that game. To have four turnovers, to have all those fumbles, turnovers. It just for me, it was upsetting. I'm gonna say, and when he came out the second half, he made that drive, and I thought he had got in rhythm, just for him to throw the interception at the goal line, and it kind of just he just made me all upset again. And we really didn't get things going offensively until the defense finally was just like, all right, we just go do it. We just go do it because obviously the offense can't get nothing going. And then Nico went out with the concussion. And if you go back and watch that game, it was like the third or fourth play, Nico had hit his head, and they took him out for concussion protocol, and they checked him, and they sumped him back in. I felt like he was concussed after that play, but they sent him back. They sent him back in the game, and he played. And he just wasn't himself throughout that whole game. And then when he that second hit, when he hit his helmet, when he hit his face helmet on the ground, and he just laid there, he was just out after that, and then that's when he had to get carted off the out of there, and they took him back to the locker room, and he was done for the day for the night. I thought Nico had been concussed that almost damn near that whole game, really from the first couple plays. But it's the playoffs. You know, players don't want to come out. They go keep playing, but at some point, you just got to save the players from themselves. But like you said, I'm not gonna be long winded. But like you said about the defense, it's just elite. Before the season, and X can attest. I said before the season when I was watching training camp, and from everything I saw last season, I said coming into the season, I said this could be the best secondary. I didn't know it was gonna be the best defense. I didn't see that coming, but I said this could be the best secondary in the whole NFL. With everybody we got all across the board, I said this would be the best secondary in the whole NFL, and they proved to be true. But I knew obviously I know who Will Anderson, I know Hunter, I know the whole front four that we got, front four, front five, everybody that rest the passer. But I just didn't think they was gonna be able to get at the quarterback like this. And one thing, and I say this and I'll be done about the Houston Texans. One thing about them on defense, they not like they not coming out there to scheme you up. They're not coming out there to disguise. They're not coming out there to kind of like trick you. They literally coming out and saying, we're gonna rush these four guys, and we're gonna let the secondary and our first level and second level handle everything else. Like we might blitz every now and then just to kind of get some pressure, but we're gonna let these four guys get after the quarterback, and everything behind them, we just locking it up. And one of the commentators was saying it during the game. He was saying like every time Aaron makes a pass, the guys are getting no yak yards. It's like as soon as they catch it, they hit. As soon as they catch it, they hit. It's like they not getting no catch it. Okay, I'm gonna get these 5 yards, get these 10 yards. It's like no, as soon as they close in on stuff quick. So it was impressive as a whole. I enjoy watching it. We're gonna see what we do against New England. Not trying to jump too far ahead. Kind of we're gonna get to everything else. But we're gonna see what we do against New England. Um, Drake May, first year in the playoffs, second year quarterback in the MVP conversation. He's elite as a talent and a player. And Mike Vrabel is a great coach. He's always been one, and he was able to get a number one seed out of Ryan Tannehill. So you can only imagine what he do when he gets some talent at quarterback. And we seen what he did. He just did it with Drake May. It's gonna be a challenge to get them. We going to Foxborough. I know some of my Texans friends and stuff. They was joking like this Texans team go get all the lick back on the New England Patriots organizations that they've been giving us over the last 10 years. Because every year we're going to the playoffs and we have a good team. We had Matt Schwab, or we had Deshaun Watson, or we had I forget his name, the journeyman Brian Hoyer, I believe his name was. Like we had all these guys, and we have a 10+ win season. We'll win our division. We'll get to the playoffs. We'll play the New England Patriots, and we'll lose by 30. That was like the constant ritual of the Houston Texans. We'll get to the playoffs. We win our division. We win that first game. We get Tom Brady in the second round, and Tom Brady beat us by like 20 points. And they'd be like, "What are y'all even doing here?" So they said this Texans team supposed to get back after all the years of Tom Brady and the New England Patriots torturing us throughout the year. We go see. Tom not suiting up, but it's still the same organization. So it'll be good to finally get a win against them. But I'm not gonna look too far ahead. I'm gonna focus on them right now and see how the game go, because it's gonna be a tough game. They the number one. Well, not number one seed, but they're a top seed for a reason. I know the Broncos are the number one seed overall, but they're a top seed for a reason. They've been one of the best teams all year. And they definitely gonna be a tough out, and I know, we the underdog for a reason. We going on the road. It's gonna be a tough matchup. I just know the defense gonna show up. I just hope that CJ, even if because it's not looking good for Nico to come off concussion protocol and be able to play this week. So we may be without Nico. So we're gonna see what CJ and the offense could do. Christian Kirk came up big for us, and our running back Marks came up big. Our rookie running back, he came up big for us. But we're gonna see what CJ can do. Hopefully, he can take care of the ball. And I know X, he might talk about it now, but when CJ first came out and kind of lit the lead on fire his rookie season, going into that next season, I wasn't ready to crown CJ, but I was definitely big up in CJ. And the X was just like, let's just wait. Let's just see how things unfold.
Well,
We're gonna see how
and,
things go.
well, that's because I got a rule though. I
Yeah.
don't. It's like I need that second year.
I understand. Yeah, yeah. No, that's why I said it's not like it wasn't a CJ thing. It was just an overall. That's how you evaluate players thing, especially quarterbacks. So I understood it. And I mean, you proved to be right. CJ literally on fire his rookie season. People was talking about how he about to be the best thing since sliced bread. How he competing with Patrick Mahomes as one of the top 5 quarterbacks in the NFL. And now he's a decent quarterback. He's more game manager than elite quarterback now. I can say that even as a fan. So we'll see how he do. And I know, and I wouldn't even put him above Dak Prescott currently right now. So, but Dak Prescott they got many years on him. I'm just saying like people look at Dak and they look at Dak. They don't look at Dak as like a world beater or elite quarterback. They look at Dak. I mean, I might look at Dak like a really good quarterback, but the general public don't look at Dak like a top 5 quarterback. And I feel like CJ's around that group more so than that elite group that people thought he was gonna be in when he first came in. That Patrick Mahomes, that Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes group. He's not in that group right now. At least he can make his way back there, but he still got a lot to prove. And we're gonna see how he does in this playoff game. But him making a deep playoff win wouldn't be impressive. But it will only be impressive if he is playing elite ball. If the defense is just tormenting everybody and getting us there, we gonna know who to give the credit to, and that's just kind of how it falls. But yeah, that's all I got to say about my Texans as of now.
I mean, I'm going to give my 2 cents on it in just a moment. But we got a special guest joining us, and we're here to talk about her Chicago Bears. But I want to get her thoughts on this too, because she is a huge sports fan. She's in the know. She knows her stuff too. Great friend of mine from Savannah State, Raianna Draper, aka known as Sports Bay Ray. So Ray, we're breaking down the Steelers and Texans and how dominant the Texans were on Monday night, especially on the defensive side of the ball. My question to you: do you think the Patriots are in trouble, or do you think that this is kind of even across the board, considering how New England played against the Chargers on the defensive side of the ball on Sunday night?
Um, okay, let's be honest here. The Texans, nah, let me not say that. That's I'll give them their credit. They did play good football. I will give them their credit. Aaron Rodgers and the Steelers sold that game. How they play. Aaron, when have we ever known Aaron Rodgers in the playoffs to play like that? Never. Exactly. So the Texans, I give them their credit. I give them their credit. Great football all around. They play the Patriots next. I don't think the Patriots are in trouble per se. I will say they will have a challenge. They have not faced a Will Anderson type of a player, type of a defense that the Texans have. This is going to force Drake May to throw the ball a lot. I don't think the run game is going to be sufficient in Stevenson. He going to have to pull out some tricks. I do think the Patriots end up winning it. They just know how to score, if that makes sense. They just know how to score. They know how to get on the board. He doesn't really take the opportunities to leave like scores untouched. He'll go kick a field goal if he has to. The Texans, they're not known for going on fourth downs a lot. The Patriots kind of have an upper hand. I do see them winning on Sunday.
So here's where I am on this. I think it's 50-50 down the line. And Matt, the reason you haven't heard me talking too much about it in the group chat this week is because I don't know, honestly, who's going to end up winning this game. Because, yes, to what Ray just said about the Patriots knowing how to score, but I watched the Chargers defense get after Drake May too. And I can't help but think, because I've seen Houston's defense getting after quarterbacks all season too, I can't help but think that he's going to be under that same type of pressure on Sunday. But I also know CJ Stroud is going to be under pressure with that Patriots defense that I watched on Sunday get after Justin Herbert too. So I don't really know which way to lean on this. I do believe this though, y'all. I believe it's going to be a lower scoring affair. I think this is one of those games that it wouldn't surprise me if the final score was something like 13-10, 17-13. I think it's very generous thinking that one of these teams can go in and score 20 points on either one of these defenses. I think both of these defenses are capable of being able to create one of those scores themselves. So this is the one upcoming divisional game that we got coming up this weekend that is still a toss up for me. And I'm pretty sure I'm not going to have an answer for where I'm going with this until it's time for the actual game.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see that. I mean, with it being in New England, that's the advantage they have. They got home cooking. They got a legacy there. The house that Tom Brady built. So it's standards. They know what it is when they step to when they walk on the field. They know what's expected of them from the fan base. So I definitely understand why you feel that way. And I agree with you. It's gonna be a low scoring game. I don't see a big 20 plus, 30 plus game. It's gonna be tight. It's gonna be a lot of defense. Our defense gonna have to make plays just like this last game when it was 7-6 and they finally was able to get the touchdown when on the fumble from Aaron Rodgers. And shout out to Aaron Rodgers, man. I don't know if he gonna officially announce if that's his retirement, but he had a remarkable career, one of the best ever. Discount double check, the bad man himself, multiple MVPs, one championship, great. Mr. Hail Mary himself, Aaron Rodgers. So shout out to him. I wish him the best. And if he retires, we just seen Phillip Rivers come up and get off the couch after 100 years being his high school football coach. So Aaron may sneak back in and play the quarterback for the back end of somebody's season if they need it, especially if they got a good team around them. Uh, I would hate for him to go into retirement with a pick six. I'd say that. I was hoping he would at least come back in and get a complete pass. So that's what made me feel like he may still come back down the line. But yeah, like you said, X is gonna be a cornfield game. Like I said, I'm not big in my chest out about the game. I know what it is, and I know we're going into it as an underdog. But I'm looking forward to the competition, and if we can get past them, I feel like that'll be our biggest challenge. Cause you seen what we did to Josh Allen, but Josh Allen got his own challenge, so we don't know if he go get past the division around himself.
You're right about that. But I think that you know what, I'm gonna save that for part two of the show when it comes to Josh Allen. I want to echo what you said about Aaron Rodgers for sure, though. If that is the last time we see him on a football field, shout out to him on a Hall of Fame career. I know that folks are gonna make a lot out of the controversy and things that he caused in his career, some of the things he said at the podium, some of the things he said in interviews, different things like that. I'm strictly focusing right now on the gameplay. Top two, top three best quarterbacks of my lifetime. Definitely top two in terms of talent. Him, Patrick Mahomes, no matter how you flip it. But Matt, I will say this. I got the feeling on Monday night the same way that I had the feeling 3 years ago when I watched Tom Brady play his last game with the Bucks against the Dallas Cowboys in that wild card game that Dallas came in and defeated the Bucks in. I just had the feeling watching him walk off the field, and maybe the camera movements, as much as they kept the camera on him, had something to do with it too. I just had the feeling like, okay, this is it. This just feels like it's probably the end. Ray, what about you? Do you think we see Aaron Rodgers play again?
No, you got to think about it. Aaron Rodgers, he played Phillip Rivers, Tom Brady, Drew Brees. You can throw Vic in there. He's played everybody that we've already seen retire and get inducted into the Hall of Fame. It's time for him to hang it up. I will say, his career is nothing short of amazing. Four-time MVP, a Super Bowl champ. I can't even tell you how many wins he got in Green Bay, but he gets into the Hall of Fame. It's okay. It's okay to go out the way he did. You were getting older. We can blame it on age. We can blame it on you not knowing if you being indecisive on retiring. We can blame it on a lot of things, your career ending the way it did. Okay. Do I think he's gonna be like Phillip Rivers and get up off the couch at some point next season? No. And it showed in how he played this season. He looked terrible. He looked like he's ready to be somebody's grandpa right now. That's just my opinion. That's just my opinion.
So I have a hard time blaming all of it on Aaron too, though, even though a large chunk of it has to be blamed on the fact that he did go to the Pittsburgh Steelers, who are offensively challenged. And they have been offensively challenged for a long time, as we know, Matt. It feels like it was a lifetime ago that we were talking about the triple Bs of Ben, Bell, and Brown. And it hasn't been anything close to that offensively since then. The offensive line, that's been in question for a decade now, too. So I can't blame all of it per se on him. I feel like there were times this season where he was decent, but there were definitely some times this season where he looked like, all right, it's time to hang it up. So no matter what it is he decides to do, he's earned the right to do it. But I just get the feeling that Monday night was it. And part of us walking into a new era also is the dawning of a new day in the NFC North Division. Ladies and gentlemen, the Chicago Bears are here, and they are not going anywhere anytime soon. Matt, you know, I came into our group chat on Saturday night,
We're the
and when it
best
was
team in
21
the
to 3,
NFL. We're the best team in the NFL. We're the best team in the NFL. I don't want to smoke with whoever. I don't care. That game on Saturday was 21 to 3 at halftime. I tweeted at halftime. I said, I trust Caleb. He not going to let us go out like this. He not going to let us do it. That man came back in the third quarter. They kicked another field goal. All right, cool. Not a problem. Then the fourth quarter starts. Y'all see him get on the sideline. He yelling at everybody on the sideline. They kick another field goal. Defense, they up their game and get the ball back. All right, cool. Caleb, what does he do in typical Iceman fashion? He marches down the field. Boom, scores. Over with. Once we scored, once the kids grabbed that touchdown, it was over with. Nobody stood a chance. Nobody stood a chance. Ben Johnson, once he got the ball back and the score is us down 3, I know we're not going for a field goal. I know we're not doing that. We can't afford that right now. This is Green Bay in the playoffs. They've been talking mad trash. Cool. What does Ben Johnson do in typical fashion? We're going to score. We're going to score. We're going to score because I'm going to give you the ball back and I'm going to make sure you don't score. What happens to Jordan Love? What was it, 4th and 12? He too busy, he too antsy, and he wants to throw the ball. What happens? Nashawn Wright is right there in the end zone to break that up. We win. We're the best team in the NFL. The only people stopping that right now, in hindsight, is the Rams. But I like us. I'm not even saying this as a fan. I'm saying this on like watching us play this whole season. I like us against anybody. The Rams, if we can stop Puka, we got a chance. I'm not worried about Devontae Adams because I know we're going to lock him down. And when he locked down, Puka has this tendency to have a game. If we can keep him under wraps, we'll be okay. We'll be okay. Jared Verse is a big guy. I am worried that like Darnell Wright is not ready to take on somebody like that hefty in size. But I know he's not getting no sacks on my quarterback. I know he's not touching him. We got the best O-line in the league. We got the best head coach in the league. We're the best team. If we beat the Rams, everybody who has talked trash about my team owes me an apology. You can ask Xavier McKnight. It was like 5 years ago. We're doing a podcast episode for the NFL draft. Justin Fields is in this draft class. I told Xavier, I said I would love for us to draft Justin Fields. I would love that. What happens the next day? We ended up trading the number 11 pick to the Giants to get Justin Fields. I know my team better than anybody walking this earth right now. We're going to the Super Bowl. We're going to the Super Bowl. If we get past the Rams, we're going to the Super Bowl. That's all I have to say. That's all I have to say.
So I just want to simply say this before Matt chimes in on this. There's definitely an argument that the Bears could be the best team in the NFL right now because there is no guaranteed great team all the way around that has been completely all the way dominant per se, like we've seen in years past. We've seen good performances out of these teams, but not somebody who we say is an overwhelming favorite. Now, you had belief on Saturday night. You're a fan of the team. That's great for you. Matt will tell you I did not have belief after halftime. I came into our group chat and I was like, thanks for coming, Bears. Y'all are not ready tonight. It had nothing necessarily to do with Caleb Williams per se. They just did not look ready for the moment. And then I sat there and I just waited in that third quarter. I was like, okay, I see something brewing here, but it's just not enough. And as soon as that first touchdown came in the fourth quarter, I was like, okay, we've got a game now. And the Packers kicker also did y'all some favors too, if I might add. McManus could not make extra points. He could not make field goals to save his life. I don't understand why he's still on the Packers roster at this point. I would have cut him on Sunday. Whether he's going to retire or not, I don't know. But he ultimately, and Matt, I'm sure you agree with this, he ultimately was the person that lost them that game because he couldn't make those field goals and those extra points when they needed him to make them. And that would have forced Chicago to have to score another touchdown. And I don't know if there would have been enough time on the clock for them to do so. One concern that I do have for your Bears coming into this thing, though, that I will say. You say you're not worried about Devontae. You say if you guys can lock up Puka. Your secondary was having a hard time with Romeo Doubs on Saturday night. And Romeo Doubs is up and coming as a talent in this league in terms of being in that tier 2 conversation, would you say, Matt? I can't put him in that tier 1 conversation. The guys that you're facing, at least one of them this weekend, Puka Nacua, he's in that tier 1 conversation. Devontae Adams is no longer tier 1. I put him in that tier 2 conversation. Your secondary could not slow that one guy down. So I'm concerned on if they're going to be able to slow Puka Nacua down. Is that going to open up the field more for Devontae Adams? Also, that 3 tight end set that Sean McVay and company have been running this year. Are they going to disguise different sets? Because, Ray, I'm going to tell you right now, number 6, Gordon, I don't know what y'all going to do to make sure that he's ready to go for this game. He was getting blown on coverages all of Saturday night. You cannot afford to have that happen this weekend.
Gordon got to sit out this week. They just cleared CJ yesterday. If we can play it where it's Jalen Johnson, CJ Gardner Johnson, Nashawn Wright, and Byard, we'll be okay. We'll be decent. Kyler got to sit out. Matter of fact, Kyler was supposed to be gone, but that's just my personal opinion because he hasn't played literally all season. He shouldn't have got a contract extension, but I understand why they gave it to him. But he got to sit out this week. And Devontae Adams, they said he a game time decision. So
he'll be out there. He'll be out there for the playoff game.
I think he'll be out there, but I just feel like my boys just have an advantage because LA, they ain't never played this cold. The weather is supposed to be like 13 degrees. The wind is supposed to be like high. Okay. They've never seen these type of weather conditions. The boys play in this all the time. I like us. I just like us because you see the material in the second half. We could be down to them 17-3 going into halftime. That's fine. The Bears are a second half team. If we play like the second half, the whole game, like there's nothing to lose, I think we win the game. I like us. Everybody saying the Rams are favored. That's cool. I can see why. Matthew Stafford is a vet in this game. He's like one of the most underappreciated quarterbacks that the league has seen. I get it. Y'all want this story to end with him maybe going to get another Super Bowl. But Chicago, we deserve that. We deserve a Super Bowl. We ain't had one since 1985. I deserve to see one in my lifetime. Okay? I deserve to see this. Matthew Stafford, I love you. I respect your game. But we need that. We need all the smoke. We need all the smoke. Like I said, Gordon needs to sit down. Caleb's going to show up. Yeah, the 3-person tight end thing that Sean McVay does, but Ben always has an answer for everything. If you pay attention to the Rams, they're not one of the top rushing offenses in the league. They're not. Sean McVay is going to have to go into his bag, and he's going to have to make Blake Corum and Kyron Williams run the ball a little bit. Why would you want to run the ball against a defensive front four that's currently ranked top 5? You're not going to want to do that. You're going to force your quarterback to throw the ball. Now that he has to throw the ball, Ben Johnson and Dennis Allen, they have to come together and be like, we got to stop 5 dudes on the field. 5. You got to stop 3 tight ends, 2 wide receivers. And that's just solely on the play that he chooses to play. I like us. I think defense redeems themselves. Like how we ended the season in takeaways, I think we can pull 2 takeaways off Matthew Stafford.
Oh, I definitely think you can
I think
do that
Rashawn
too.
Wright pulls up with a fumble. We taking interceptions off everybody. If we get past the Rams, I want the smoke with the 49ers. But Brock Purdy owe me. He owe us. And then I want the Super Bowl to be New England and Chicago. It's just a great story. 2 first-year head coaches battling out for the Super Bowl. It really does not get no better than that. And then I want the smoke with the Patriots too, because y'all don't deserve it.
It also would be a rematch of the first time that the Bears played in the Super Bowl and beat the Patriots for that Super Bowl too back in 1985. So that really would end up being something there. I do want to say this though, because this is why I do have the Bears favorite to win this game. And Matt, then I'm going to take it to you on this. The weather is the factor in this one for me. They're going to have to run the football. And I do think Chicago will come in and they'll be able to run the football better in this game. I'd love to come back to what you said about the Rams being up 17-3 and you guys being able to come back from that. I'd love to say, oh, that's a little much for them. No, I can't say it because just 3 weeks ago, I watched the Los Angeles Rams on Thursday Night Football blow a 16-point lead with 8 minutes left in the fourth quarter of a game. So, yeah, it's very possible that they can have that lead and they can end up blowing it. So I don't disagree with you there. Matt, what are your thoughts on everything that you've heard here in the past few minutes?
It's been a lot, I would say. It's been a lot. A lot has been said, and I think it's speaking out of more fandom than actually reality. Because Ben Johnson is not even a top 10 coach in the NFL right now. Especially not a top one. We have a coach in Kansas City who's well known. We have a coach in LA, Sean McVay. We have 2 coaches in LA. I mean LA, not California, and Kyle Shanahan that are pretty good. I would say so myself. Ben is in the conversation with the new coaches that are here, like Leon Cohen. Like Grandma said, hold your head high, baby. You did a good job. That's Ben Johnson right now. He's in that era with those type of coaches, but he needs more. He needs more years under his belt before I say he's the best. But like I said, to speaking out of fandom more so than reality. And then to Caleb, this is me speaking so honestly. This is not me just saying this because I'm on here and I'm talking to you as a Bears fan. Caleb may be, if not the most, in the top 5 of one of the most overrated players in the NFL. Mainly because coming into college, and I'm not blaming him for this. We Exit can attest to this. I talk to Law about this all the time because he like to hold players to the expectations that the people around them put on them. So I'm not blaming Caleb for this, but coming out of college, that first year, that last year he had at USC, people talked about how he about to be a world beater, how he about to do a Heisman, how he about to go win a national championship, and he flamed out and he was crying in the stands. There's nothing wrong with being emotional. It's okay for men to cry. More men should cry. He gets to the NFL, get drafted by the Bears, We got people saying that the Bears going to the Super Bowl. Obviously, that didn't happen. So let's move past the last season. Let's move past the last 2 seasons with Caleb. He's here now. Caleb is a great talent. He's a good player. I like him as a player. I like how open he is with the nails. He's with the nails painting, with his animations on the field, with him grinding the cheese after the game. I like all that. But when we just talking about the play on the field, just the play on the field, not the historic plays, not the can't nobody else in the NFL do these plays, not the thrown off run leg, not the running to your left, throwing to your right, running to your right. Just the play, overall play. Caleb has a lot to clean up within his game as a player. He's a very sporadic player. He plays with a lot of emotion, which can be good and bad. Like you said, he was yelling at the players on the sideline when they fell down in the first half. So Caleb still has a ways to go, especially based on what people said about him coming in. You would have thought he was Andrew Luck coming into the NFL, and so far he has not lived up to that standard. At least to me, to me, from what I've seen from Caleb, he's a good quarterback. He still has a ways to go, but like just look at the quarterbacks within his own draft class. I mean, who's to say Caleb is better than Jaden Daniels? Who's to say Caleb is better than Drake May? Drake May was just in the MVP conversation just this season. He's currently in the MVP conversation as we speak right now, and he went in the same draft as Caleb. And people were saying Caleb was set up with people were saying when he got drafted to the Bears that he was going to be set up as the best situation for any number one pick in NFL history. They said you got the running backs, you got the wide receivers, they went and got you O-line help, they got you defense help. You have been set up for as the best situation for any quarterback that went number one in NFL history. And that didn't get us anywhere. So I'm not saying again, I say that to say he's a good player, but I just feel like he's not up there the way people portray him to be. Maybe one day he will be. Maybe this Super Bowl run that you say he might go on may put him there. Now let's talk about the Rams the Bears as a whole. If we go back and look at their schedule, you the fan, so I know.
Nah, this is on Real Deal Sports. I be in tune with football for real. Who's to say that he's not the best quarterback in his class? He's doing everything that Jaden Daniels did in his first year and his second year, minus the NFC Championship game because it hasn't happened yet. Now,
not the numbers, not their numbers.
His numbers this season, he's not the most sacked quarterback this season.
Okay.
He's one of the quarterbacks with the fewest interceptions on the season. He went 121 pass attempts before even throwing another interception. Nobody has done more than 15 this season. You talk about his sporadic play, but how many times have we seen Lamar Jackson make a play that he was not supposed to make? How many times have we seen Patrick Mahomes make throws that were borderline damn near impossible to catch? Now, Caleb coming into his NFL career, yeah, there was a lot of hype around him. I was one of the few people that say he's coming into the worst situation known to mankind. The Bears can never get it right when you have the right quarterback, but you have a bad head coach. If you really watch football, you know they ran Justin Fields out of town. They ran Mitch Trubisky out of town because of bad head coaching. Yeah, you got to wait. You got to have that terrible season where you go 5-12 because we know next year Ben Johnson is coming and he's not playing that. They have showed that. They started 0-2. Y'all talked about Caleb and his nails. Y'all done said that he's not a great quarterback, that he's not even the best quarterback in his draft class. But y'all don't give him credit either for the turnaround that he's had. He is actually top 5 right now in comeback players of the year. And the only 2 quarterbacks that got him beat are Sam Darnold and Trevor Lawrence. That tells you everything that you need to know. Trevor Lawrence does not have a playoff win under his belt at the moment. Neither does Justin Herbert. Caleb Williams has one. He's done it in 2 years. Drake May has a playoff win. All right, cool. But Drake May is not making the same type of throws that Caleb is throwing. The clip that's going viral on TikTok and Twitter right now of his throw looking like the Jumpman logo, what other quarterback do you know could make that same throw? Caleb's football IQ is actually higher than a lot of people want to give him credit for. He knows how to break down a defense and he knows how to read it really well, i.e., why he's able to throw the ball the way that he does. You're not going to see Patrick Mahomes do those same things. You're not going to see Geno Smith or Sam Arnold do those same things. On top of that, Caleb is very mobile. He shows it in his legs when Chicago really needs a 4th and 1, or Chicago is 4th and 15. He can run. He's top 10 in rushing yards. He's the only quarterback in the top 15. He's ranked top 10 in touchdown passes, and he's ranked lower, like 20s in interceptions. But he's not worthy of credit. I hear what you're saying. Your opinion is solely your opinion. Like I said, this is not coming from fandom. The proof is all in his numbers. He has better numbers than Drake May. He has better numbers than Justin Herbert. He has better numbers than Trevor Lawrence, Kirk Cousins, and Penix this season.
So let me chime in really quickly, if I may, here, because I think both of y'all make some valid points here. I agree with Matt in terms of there being things to clean up. The completion percentage, you want to see him do better than that. But here's the thing. When it's time to complete that ball in the fourth quarter, he completes that ball in the fourth quarter. And we've seen that throughout many times this season. I'm going to tell y'all what I judge Caleb Williams year 2 based off of another year 2. I'm not comparing him overall as this player, just based off of this player's year 2 versus Caleb Williams year 2, especially with how the team got turned around. I think it's very close to what Peyton Manning did in 1999. Peyton Manning had an awful record as a rookie in 1998. Caleb Williams had an awful record last year in 2024 in his rookie season there. He got it completely turned around in that second year. Now, can he go on to have a Peyton Manning type of career? That remains to be seen. But I do believe that his upside is up right now. I believe that he will get the things cleaned up that he does need to get cleaned up, because I've seen him get other things cleaned up this season. Even outside of having a great O-line this season, because he didn't have that in his rookie season, and we knew he didn't have that in his rookie season. But even outside of having that, you still got to have the discipline of knowing when to let go of the football. There are plenty of quarterbacks in the league who don't know when to do that. And that's also contributed to the lack of sacks that we saw Caleb Williams have this year compared to what happened in 2024 too. Ben Johnson coming in there and getting a lot of that stuff cleaned up. And Ray, you make the perfect point too when you talk about him not having a good head coach. We all knew Matt Eberflus shouldn't even have been Caleb's head coach for 1 second in his time in Chicago. And thankfully they were able to get him out of there, and they have him now in there with Ben Johnson. I think he's in that top 15 conversation for quarterbacks right now, though, with a chance to possibly be in the top 8, top 5 at the end of next season. There's still more that I would like to see in terms of that, but I do believe that his trajectory and his upside is up when it comes to that. Matt, what are your thoughts?
Okay, I'm going to finish the point. So, as I was saying, I hear y'all. I just want to finish the point because y'all said a lot and I was quiet. So, as I was saying, Caleb, for someone we all saying is having a great year, threw for 3,942 yards, 27 touchdowns, 7 interceptions with a QBR of 58. So it's like, I understand he can make, like, it goes back to this, and I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna try to be done. It goes back to this, a simple thing. Once somebody said to Tom Brady, "Hey Tom, Jay Cutler throws a better pass than you." And you know what Tom said in response? Tom said, "Shit, Jay Cutler does throw a better pass than me. Have you seen Jay Cutler throw a pass? Jay Cutler got an arm. Jay Cutler could probably throw it 60, 70 yards standing flat-footed." Like, this is you can go back and look at this. Tom said this. But in a game, would you rather take Jay Cutler or would you take Tom Brady? So I'm not taking away from Caleb being the talented quarterback, making plays that probably nobody else can make. But Aaron Rodgers can make plays that nobody else can make. But would you rather have Aaron Rodgers or would you rather have Peyton Manning? You want the quarterback that can go out there and play the position how the position is meant to be played and put your team in position how and when they need to be put in that position too. Caleb is a great player, but upstairs he still has a lot to learn, especially putting the ball in harm, putting the ball in bad places. When we talk about Drake May, just talking about Drake May's numbers. We saying Caleb is this, Caleb that, and I like I said, he's a good player, but I just wanna make it all make sense. We say these things, but we have to make it make sense. Drake May, 4,394 yards, 31 touchdowns, 8 interceptions, and a QBR of 77. That's damn near 20 higher than Caleb. And they're in the same quarterback class. They're in the same draft class. Drake went at number 3. Caleb went at number 1. So I'm saying when I say things like this, I'm not saying this as a Caleb hater. I'm just saying it for what it is. Yes, I'm not taking away from Caleb. He can make throws that hardly anybody in NFL history can make. He's a talented thrower of the ball. He's a talented player, and that's why he got so far in his life. He's a great player. But just because you can make throws that nobody else can make does not mean you're a better quarterback than most people. It's many talented quarterbacks that have came into the NFL and have left the NFL because they couldn't figure it out on the field. Not saying Caleb's in that ballpark, but what I'm saying is just because you're a talented thrower of the ball does not automatically make you better than everybody around you. You have to go out on the field and make it work. So when I would get back to what I was saying about just the Chicago Bears as a whole. As a whole, Chicago Bears, good season, great bounce back season. Nobody saw them about to win the NFC North, and they came out and they became the kings of the North. I give them a shout out for that because I didn't see them. I saw them making the playoff, but I didn't see them winning, and I thought it was gonna be the Green Bay Packers, and they
Neither
knocked the
one of
Green Bay
us saw
Packers
that
out.
coming. Neither one of us saw
Yeah,
that coming. We went on your podcast before the start of the season and we broke down what we thought would happen in the NFC North. And neither one of us saw that coming.
yeah, no, I just exactly did not see that coming, and they came out victorious, kings of the North. I thought it's gonna be the Green Bay Packers. Now let's put it all in context. The Chicago Bears played a good season, but when we talk about teams that have beaten this season, the only team they beat that's going to put somebody to put a badge on a shield are the Philadelphia Eagles and the Green Bay Packers, and they played the Green Bay Packers 3 times. And the Philadelphia Eagles, we saw who they were. Like we saw who they were. They was exposed. We saw who they were. So I'm not taking any away from the Chicago Bears. They're a good team. They're on the come up. They got a good quarterback. They got a great head coach who maybe one day can be the best coach in the NFL. But is he that today? He's not close to that today. And that's no shot at him. But we can't discredit Andy Reid. We can't discredit Kyle Shanahan. We can't discredit Sean McVay. We can't discredit many coaches. That's not just a shot at him. I'm just saying overall, we just can't discredit these guys. So
I believe he's
going
one
into
of
the
the
game,
best breakout coaches. That's what I'll say.
yeah, he had a breakout year. We just want to see it be more consistent going forward, but he had a great breakout year. So going into the game, actual game, Rams versus Bears, who I think I will win. The Rams going to Chicago is going to be tough. Them playing in the beautiful sunny weather of LA and then going to that dungeon, it's gonna be tough. The positive that they got in this whole situation is Matthew Stafford once was living in that. He was born in that. He grew up in that. But he's been away from that for a long time. So he may not
Yeah,
know it
he
like
also didn't play in that though in Detroit. He played in a dome in Detroit. That's the slight difference when it does come to that.
well, he played in the dome when he was at home, but he had games in the snow. That's all I'm
Okay,
saying.
yes.
This is
Yes, he
not
did.
nothing
Okay,
new.
I see
Yeah,
what you're saying now.
this is not anything new to him. So he had like some of these players have been playing in this nice, cool, warm weather where they are for most of their careers. It's not all their career. Matthew Stafford at least has experience with that. It's kind of go I'm not trying to quote Tom Brady. It kind of goes back to Tom Brady when he was, and this is Tom Brady being a psycho that he is, being a multi 6-time, 7-time, 8-time, 100-time champion that he is. When he talked about how to throw the ball in the cold versus how to throw the ball when it's warm, how to throw the ball when it's windy versus how to throw the ball when it's not windy. Like Tom break things like that down that some quarterbacks may not even know. I ain't saying Matthew Stafford knows that, but he at least has the experience to maybe know that. And some guys may get there, they might not figure out how to do certain things until it's halftime. They're like, dang, I've been trying to do this all game, it ain't been working. I'm finally realize it's not working because I can't do it the way I do it because of the weather. So who I think will win, the Rams definitely gave me cause to pause in that first game. And X talked about it in the chat. They can't go into next week or this week looking like this, the way they played in that first game because the Carolina Panthers had a decent season. Nobody thought they would win the division. They won it with a losing record, and we'll see what they go from here. Bryce Young actually played really well in the game. For somebody that's on the hot seat, shout out to him for getting the 5th-year option picked up. Hopefully, he get a long term extension by following that. But like X said, that was not that last drive. Yes, saved the game, but that defense was not really good throughout that game. So we're gonna see what they can do against Chicago. If I just had to take a pick now, I would go Rams. But it's going to be a close game. It's going to be a ball. It's going to be a fight. It's going to be a tight game. It's going to be not a high scoring game. I mean, both. I mean, the Rams let the Panthers put up a lot of points on them last week, and the Chicago throughout the season have been people. It had moments where people put up a lot. I mean, just to close out the season, the San Francisco 49ers put up 42 on them in a loss, which was a great game, and Caleb played great. But it was just a great. They played in San Francisco, so they can get got on the defensive side. But it's like, for me, it's like, how many times can we get to the point where we got to get to a point where Caleb and the offense got to have a comeback win? Like, at some point, that's going to catch up to you. It's kind of like the Chiefs of last year. They had the best record of like 7-point losses. I mean, 7-point wins, 7-point or less wins. And it's like the coin can only flip your way so many times. So yes, coming back and never being out of it and being a comeback team and doing all that, being the comeback kid and all that, it's cool and all. But how about just being a steady dose of playing good for 4 quarters and putting teams away? That's what I want to see from the Chicago Bears, and we'll see if they're able to do that. But for now, I'm going to go with the Rams just because I know kind of what I'm getting with Sean McVay, Matthew Stafford, and Puka Nacua, and Jared Verse and all those guys. But Chicago is a good team, and they definitely surprised me this season with how well they played. But we'll see how they do this weekend against the Rams. And I wish them the best, honestly. I like Caleb. Like I said, I came into it saying I like Caleb. I didn't get no beef with Caleb. But like I tell X all the time, I just call it how I see it.
No, and I'll close it out simply by saying this. And Ray had to jump off. We appreciate Ray joining the show. Hopefully we can get her back on another night and we can talk some more of this. Yes, there are things Caleb does need to clean up. I do not like the fact that the quarterback has a 58% completion percentage, but he gets it done in the fourth quarter. He gets it done in the clutch. And that's what I'm having a hard time arguing against with that. When it comes down to this game itself, though, I'm giving the Bears the edge because I think they'll be able to run the football better. And I think that this is going to be a game that does come down to the rushing attack as opposed to being able to throw it. This is not one of those games, I think, that aerial attack of being able to air it down the field is going to be very much of a factor simply because of the weather, though. Got to get to a couple of quick hitters here. Really quickly, we already touched on this. Pats beating the Chargers, Rams beating the Panthers. Look, to the Chargers and the Panthers, I want to say good season. Justin Herbert, you still got a ways to go. You are not in that top 5 quarterback conversation just yet. I believe that you can get there. We'll see if he can get there, Matt. One of the steps they did take at the Chargers organization with this, they fired Greg Roman as their offensive coordinator. I'm curious to see who they're going to get in there to take his place. And if they can get Justin Herbert back to looking like the aerial quarterback that he once was. Because they tried to turn him into this dual threat guy, and I know he does have some mobility, but he's better when he's throwing the football. I'm curious just to see where they're going to go on this. But to the Chargers and Panthers, good step going forward. And I know the Chargers made the playoffs last year, but Matt, if you remember when we broke down the AFC West on the Open Stride podcast, your podcast, I didn't pick the Chargers to make the playoffs because of their O-line issues. They were able to overcome that and at least get to the playoffs. So they took some steps forward. Curious to see where they go in the 2026 season.
Yeah, same. Wish him the best. Justin Herbert, like I mean, I'm on racks how I felt about him for the last 2 3 years. Just not the quarterback that everybody proclaimed him to be. People kept wanting to put him in that top five conversation, but he was never really that for me. So we'll see what he does come into another season. But at some point, Justin, you got to get that. You have to get that playoff win, man. You can't keep going to the playoff. You can't play games all season long and then have the worst game of your career in the playoffs. That's just not a good look. So hopefully they get the offensive coordinator. They got the right head coach over there, and hopefully they get things turned around. And we see him in the playoffs and getting some wins.
And to Bryce Young and the Panthers, as you guys say in Carolina, just keep pounding. They're building something really good over there. I like what they're building. I want to see Bryce become more consistent going forward. I feel like he took some good steps forward this year.
Oh yeah, I like Bryce. He came in the same draft class as CJ Stroud. So I like him as a player. Hope wish him the best. I'm glad he was able to earn his starting spot back last season when he got benched and he came on late because Andy Dalton ended up getting hurt and he came in and played pretty good and was able to earn his starting spot back. And he came into this season as the starter, even from the head coach's mouth saying that he was going to be our starter next season. He played decent this season. Wasn't the best year, obviously. Wasn't like a top 10 year, top 5 year, whatever what you want to call it. But hopefully he can keep building on that. He is in Carolina, and they getting talent out there around him. And T Mac is a great wide receiver one that he can build around and build with. So we're looking, wish him the best, and hopefully they can continue to win and hopefully win the division again.
When he got benched in 2024 for Andy Dalton, we all were like, oh no. And that might have actually been the best thing that could have happened for him. Switching over to college football, Dante Moore has decided that he's going to stay at Oregon for another season. I'm 100% in on this decision, Matt. As you know, I came into our group chat and I said during that game against Oregon and Indiana, the semifinals game of the college football playoff, Dante Moore, stay in school, young brother. You are not ready for the NFL yet. And I'm glad that this is the decision that he is making because had he came out, he would have been drafted more than likely by the moribund New York Jets who have no idea on how to develop a quarterback. So I love that he made this decision.
Yeah, I'm torn about it. I can't say I love it, but I can say that I can see why he did it. I understand it mainly because he still got some learning to go. He's still young and he still has another year left. So why not cash in on it? He can still get the NIL money. But like I was telling somebody the other day, man, quarterbacks that are projected to go high in the draft that decide to go back to college don't always pan out in their favor. And we can go down a laundry list of quarterbacks that could have went out the year prior and decided to stay and come back another year and they draft stock plummeted. Not saying that's going to happen to Dante Moore. He may still ball next season and come out and still be a top 5 pick. But to leave $50 million guarantee on the table for a chance to develop yourself as a player for long-term longevity, I understand it. It's just a big risk. So we'll see what he do. Hopefully he still be the same player coming out of college next season. Hopefully he can still be a top 5 pick coming out next season. And hopefully he doesn't hurt his draft stock by staying and showing more of his film on tape.
It's indeed a risk, but as they say, no risk it, no biscuit. Going over to some baseball news now. Over the weekend, Alex Bregman signing with the Chicago Cubs. Like, love, or hate the move?
I I like it. And it came at an interesting time that Chicago was getting a lot of good news in one day. Like Chicago sports was getting a lot of, like, I don't know if it was the same. Was it the same day that he signed? No, that
Yes,
okay.
the Bears and Packers playoff game was in progress when he signed.
Okay, yes, that's what I thought. I thought I saw that tweet somewhere that like Chicago sports was getting a lot of great news in one day. So yeah, I like it. I like the move. I wish him the best there. I went to the Chicago Cubs stadium to watch a game. One time I was in Chicago. Man, one of the best stadiums I ever been to. Open field. See, you can see the skyline from while you're sitting there on the field behind home court, behind home plate, and it was just nice. I'd love to get back up there and watch a game in Chicago at another time. Um, but yeah, I like to move though to say.
Switching over to the NBA, trade rumors that are now heating up. Jonathan Kuminga is now being linked to the Los Angeles Lakers. As a Lakers fan, I simply just want to say, Rob Pelinka, get it done. I look at Jonathan Kuminga as that young 3-and-D player that's missing for the Lakers in their future. with Luka Doncic. I'm not really looking necessarily towards this season as much anymore, if I'm being honest. It's too much up and down stuff that's happening. DeAndre Ayton is not the big that it looked like he was going to be. It looked like, we had something at the beginning of the season, but you're getting subbed out for Jackson Hayes, and we know he's not the future big man for this organization. Matt, I don't know what exactly was the thought process when the Lakers decided to not medically clear Mark Williams and go through with that trade a year ago, but he is doing for the Phoenix Suns what he could have been doing for the Los Angeles Lakers.
Yeah, I don't understand why they did it too. Like, I don't know if they just got cold feet because that one move kind of backfired on them twice. Because not only did they not get Mark Williams, but Dante ended up not being the same player he was since the trade. Like, since that trade, it's kind of his confidence got shot. But before that, he was balling, and then after that, he kind of just not even the same player. So it's kind of like a double whammy. Not only did you not get Mark, but then you killed your confidence of the rookie you had that was playing pretty good up to that point. So I don't understand that. But as far as Jonathan Kuminga, yeah, man, I've been so tired of the saga with Jonathan Kuminga and the Golden State Warriors, man. It's been ongoing for too many seasons. You don't know. Some days he's getting DMP, some days he's starting, some days he come off the bench. It's like, what is going on? The kid is talented. Y'all signed him to an extension at this point. Like, either let him go or play him. Like, I don't understand what's the hold up with this situation. Like, it's like y'all holding on to him but don't want to play him, or y'all holding on to him and then y'all benched him. It's like, what are we doing, Golden State? Y'all don't have the best record of developing young talent, and it's just showing again with Jonathan Kuminga. So hopefully it gets resolved soon. Hopefully, for the Jonathan Kuminga's sake, that he gets out of Golden State, because some days they want him, some days they won't. Don't I don't know behind the scenes if this is just them trying to mature him as a player because he's doing stuff behind the scenes or whatever. But whatever the case may be, the relationship just hasn't worked. So it's time to cut ties and go your separate ways.
Anthony Davis is back on the mend again, unfortunately. He's going to miss the next 6 weeks with a hand injury. Initially, it was reported yesterday that he was going to have hand surgery and was going to miss multiple months. There was another report that came out later that said that he will not be having that surgery, and after a second opinion, he will miss 6 weeks. But Matt, his trade value is completely in the tank at this point, and we've had this conversation before. At this point, if a general manager trades for Anthony Davis and just how injury prone he is, you should be fired for that now at this point. It's not talking anything about Anthony Davis, the player, and when he is out there, we know how productive he can be. But there is a key emphasis on when he is out there, because he has been nothing but injury prone, especially since this stint with the Dallas Mavericks and him started.
Yeah, I mean, let Rich Paul tell it he should get an extension, but that's his agent. So what else he gonna say? But yeah, AD just ain't been the same player since he's been in Dallas, and AD been an injury prone player his whole career, even when he was young. So a injury prone player young grows into an injury prone player old, just more injury prone because you can't heal as fast as you did once when you were young. So I wish AD the best. I do. I would just hate for him to get traded for Dallas, mainly for the fact is that y'all traded Luka Doncic for him, so to only get this short of a time for somebody that y'all gave up Luca for, it just looks so bad. Like, the return for him would have to be somebody like a young star or something. But like you said, at this point in his career, that doesn't look like it can happen. So I wish Anthony the best, but I just hate how things unfolded from the Luca trade to his stint in Dallas into what things are going with Rich Paul pretty much begging the Dallas Mavericks to trade him every other episode he does with Max Kellerman.
And now at this point, Matt, I am ready to say that the Luka Doncic trade does look like a disaster for the Dallas Mavericks. I was holding out, okay, let's see how this ends up playing out. AD's there if he can stay healthy when Kyrie comes back. Now with this latest Anthony Davis injury, I don't know if we see him play in a Dallas Mavericks uniform again. Kyrie Irving probably is not going to play this season. I question if he's going to be on the trade market this offseason too, just simply because Kyrie is now approaching his mid-30s as well. And I think that we forget that too. We remember Kyrie as the young wizard in Cleveland, his time with Boston, his time with the Nets when he first got to Dallas. I don't know the player that he's going to be when he comes back off that torn ACL, and they might want to move off him too, just simply because they want to officially go into this new chapter with Cooper Flag and possibly another draft pick that they'll get in this upcoming draft. So that looks like a disaster. Speaking of injuries, Unfortunately, George Kittle tearing his Achilles in the playoff game on Sunday with the Philadelphia Eagles and the San Francisco 49ers. You hate to see that, but San Francisco still finding a way to win. But to Big George, hey, we wish you all the best, man. Bounce back, come back stronger than ever.
Yeah, hopefully he come back. I like George Kittle as a player, as a talent. He helped my fantasy football team win a championship this year, so I appreciate him for that. Because that was a cash league, so he balled out this season, and I hate that he got injured. The 49ers, something going on with the 49ers where a lot of their players get injured, especially with lower leg injuries, and I don't know what's going on over there. I'm not trying to speculate or make any assumptions, but it's just sometimes things are just not a coincidence, and we just got to look into it a little bit more.
Yeah, because this has been something that's been a trend since at least 2020. That is something that's not right over there. Like you said, don't want to speculate. But we did just say one thing, though. The Niners did, despite that injury and despite the other injuries they're dealing with, they did roll into Philly and shock the Eagles. And we're going to touch more on that in part 2. This is going to wrap up part 1 of the Why Not Us, Why Not Now podcast. X and Matt coming at you. We'll be right back with part 2.